Guys, this is Jake from vertuner.com, and today we're going to be testing a thermostat. So the way you test a thermostat is actually by getting water up to what's called a rolling boil. And a rolling boil is essentially when the water is heated up enough that it's boiling on its own. When the water first begins to bubble at the bottom of the pan, that's actually just the heat of the bottom of the pan. The water itself, all the way through, hasn't heated up to the full 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit that it takes to boil water. 210, 212, somewhere in that range. So if we check this now, we should be pretty close to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. So we're actually still a little bit underneath 100 degrees, but we're 100 degrees Celsius, which is the boiling point of water, but we're at right about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Now this particular thermostat opens up at 180 degrees Fahrenheit, so we're well above the range. Most thermostats do open up in that area. You can get ones that open up lower, but this test will work for either of those because you're significantly higher. So what we're looking for here, after the thermostat's heated up, it should open up. If it doesn't, then we know the thermostat's stuck. Now the thermostat can get stuck open or stuck closed. This particular one is just fine, which isn't surprising because it's brand new. We changed the head gasket. If you've been following us on our Instagram account, VertTuner, then you'll know this plastic tongue is not working out. Then you'll know that I picked up a Subaru to drive around during my all-wheel drive swap for the Spyder. There. If I can get it up here, you can see it. There we go. You can see that it's opened up here. This pan is no longer level here. When it closes up, set it out here and let it close. I'll let you see what that looks like again. Most of you probably know what a closed thermostat looks like. If you take yours out, you'll see. But we'll go ahead and let you see, just in case. And we'll turn the heat off of the stove now. So the thermostat can basically stick either open or closed. You'll know if it's stuck open when you pull it out because that plate will be below the larger plate here. As you can see, as you can see here, as it's closing, that plate's going back to the center. All right, it's going back to being closed inside of this larger plate. So the smaller plate in the center here, when it's closed, is fully inside of this little saddle. Now what this does is it holds the water until it reaches the right temperature, and then it opens up and lets it circulate through the system. Now, you also have this little dot here. Hopefully you can see that. You also have this little dot here that moves around, and that basically just lets air bubbles pass through so you don't get air trapped in your coolant system. Now, as I was saying, if you've been following our project, then you know that I bought a Subaru to drive during the all-wheel drive swap, but the Subaru had a blown head gasket. So we changed the head gasket, had all the machine work done over at our Cola in Fort Wayne, Indiana, or near Fort Wayne, Indiana. And now we've put it back together, and we're running into a few issues with it still wanting to run a little hot, but the head gasket is testing fine. So we're going through flushing the coolant system, which was pretty corroded, flushing through the coolant system, making sure the radiator flows. I've changed the upper and lower radiator hose. I think the original problem was just a kinked lower radiator hose, so we went ahead and just replaced that with a shorter one that's properly molded. The other one was the bent tube style that you could shape any direction you want, but it was a little too long. So we tried cutting it down, but then it leaked, so we got a molded one. Now that we have the molded one on there, it did overheat on me one more time, but I think it just had some air in the line still from leaking. But just to be safe, we're checking the thermostat, going through and reflushing the system again, and then we'll give it a shot. But that is how you test your coolant system, or test your thermostat. And a good indicator that the thermostat may need to be checked is if when the motor gets hot, if the upper radiator hose, when you squeeze it, is warm, but the lower radiator hose is cold. That would mean that coolant isn't flowing through the system. So it's heating up close to the heat source, but then not passing through and recooling properly. All right, have a good one, guys.